Hey everyone, we're about to dive into a topic that's, really tough but also incredibly important. Foreclosure. If you or someone you know is going through this, it can absolutely feel like every single road leads to a dead end. But today, we're going to explore a different path, an alternative route to relief that you might not even know exists.
This quote right here just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? If you're facing foreclosure, it's easy to feel like every option leads to the same place: stress, damaged credit, and a loss of control. It's that feeling of being completely trapped that we're going to talk about breaking free from today.
All right, so first up, let's talk about what we'll call the foreclosure trap and really dig into why the advice you usually hear, why it often falls short.
Just think about the usual advice you get, right? Talk to your lender, ask for a modification, try to buy more time. The thing is, all of these actions force you to work inside the very system that's creating all the pressure in the first place. You're stuck in a loop, constantly negotiating from a tough spot, always having to ask for permission.
And you can see that cycle pretty clearly here. Over on the left, you've got that standard path. Endless phone calls, stacks of paperwork, and just this constant feeling of not knowing what's next. And what does that usually lead to? The common outcome you see on the right: a ton of stress, a big hit to your credit score, and feeling like you've lost all control. It's a path that can drag out the pain without ever really offering a way out.
So what if that whole system isn't the only option? What if there's a completely different way to look at this problem?
And that leads us right into our next section, stepping outside the system. We're about to look at a totally different direction you can take. So here's the thing. This is a huge insight that most homeowners just never hear. The solution isn't always about working with the lender. In some cases, there are ways to resolve the loan obligation itself, basically stepping outside of that traditional back-and-forth negotiation game altogether.
And this is the real game changer. The entire power dynamic flips. Instead of begging the lender for permission, this approach is all about settling the loan obligation through another method, maybe something like a short sale or a deed in lieu of foreclosure. You're not asking for help anymore, you're actually presenting a final solution.
So, what does this other path actually look like? Let's dig into the benefits of what our source material calls a quiet or exit. It's a way to handle the whole foreclosure process without a public auction, letting you really take back the reins.
This path can lead to some really powerful outcomes. First off, it can immediately stop that relentless pressure from the lender. Poof, it's gone. It can also help you avoid the really severe, long-term damage to your credit that comes with a full foreclosure. This approach makes a discreet, clean exit possible. And get this, in some cases, it might even provide you with some funds to help you move forward and get a fresh start.
And this quote from the source really drives that point home. It's about allowing homeowners to exit cleanly and discreetly, sometimes even with funds to help them move forward. This isn't just about losing a house. It's about finding a resolution that actually helps protect your financial future.
Okay, so if this other path exists, how in the world do you know if it's actually an option for you? Well, that brings us to our last section: unlocking your options and finding your path.
Now, this is super important, so I really want you to hear this. This is not some magic bullet or a one-size-fits-all fix you're going to find on the internet. Eligibility is very, very specific. It depends on a bunch of factors, like the timing of your foreclosure, the exact way your loan is structured, and other details that are totally unique to your situation. So who can help you figure all this out? That's where a foreclosure relief specialist comes in. The best way to think of them is like an expert navigator. Because these options, like short sales, have such specific rules, their whole job is to analyze your unique situation and see if one of these quieter exits is actually on the table for you.
And what they do is actually pretty straightforward. You can see it here. Step 1, they do a really deep dive. They look at your loan documents, they look at all the specific facts of your case. And Step 2, based on that expert analysis, they simply tell you. They explain whether or not this non-traditional exit is a real viable path for you. No more guesswork, just clarity.
When it comes down to it, their main job is just to give you clarity. It's all about helping you understand what's actually possible, beyond all the standard advice, and showing you if there are other doors open that you didn't even know existed.
And that kind of brings us to our final thought for today. Is that common path, the one that's just filled with stress and damage and that feeling of losing control, is that really your only choice? The biggest takeaway here is that for some homeowners, the answer might just be no. And knowing all of your real options, that is the very first step to taking back control.